Hello and welcome to SoftTalk ASMR. It's Tom, and how are you today? Look what I found. It's one of my old books from childhood. Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. And it's an original because look at the date there, 1987. MCML XXX Now, Thomas the Tank Engine, when it was made into a TV series, was something that really encaptured so much of my attention. I loved the faces on the engines and the different modes of transport. There was Bertie the bus and Harold the helicopter, Trevor the traction engine, Terence the tractor, Daisy the diesel rail car, and Mavis and Diesel, they were the diesel shanters, plus obviously all the steam engines, and there's Toby the tram car. Now, I used to love Ringo Starr narrating and Michael Angellis. I loved the way how they talk. I loved their accents. And I loved the way how Ringo Starr used to really try his best to give some exclamation and some strong diction, but in a friendly way. Doing loads of sorting out in my bedroom, and I'm so pleased to find that you can see I've been sorting out a lot. Lots of things I've discovered and sorting out. And I remember one of the songs that Ringo Starr said, which was in an episode of the Thin Controllers Railway. There was the fat controller, and then there was the thin controller. And one of the locomotives on the thin controllers railway was called Peter Sam. And I can still remember the song that Ringo Starr sang. And it was, the story was the locomotive Peter Sam that was promised a new funnel, and he had an accident coming out of a tunnel with an icicle, and the icicle knocked the funnel off, and as a temporary measure they gave Peter Sam an old drain pipe, a piece of old drain pipe, which he had as a substitute funnel. And there was a song that all the engines sang, and Ringo Starr represented that voice. I can still remember it now, and in true Ringo Starr Merseyside accent, I shall try my best to replicate it. Peter Sam said again and again, his new funnel will put us to shame. Went into the tunnel, lost his old funnel, now his famous new funnel's a drain. And when Peter Sam did eventually get a new funnel, it was, I think it was called an Giesel oblong injector. Keys or vertical oblong injector, something like that. The Fat Controller proudly presented it. His driver and fireman if I can perhaps read a couple of pages, fair use. Let's see. Soon above the clatter of the trucks, he heard a familiar buzzing. "Percy," whispered his driver, "there's Harold. He's not far ahead. Let's race him." "Yes, let's," said Percy excitedly and quickly gathering speed. He steamed off down the line. "Well, I'll be ding-dong-dangled," said the driver. There was Harold high above them. The race was on. "Go it, Percy," yelled his driver. "You're gaining." Percy had never been allowed to run fast before. He was having the time of his life. "Hurry, hurry, hurry," he panted to the trucks. We don't want to, they grumbled. But it was no use. Percy was bucketing along with flying wheels, and Harold was high above, alongside. The fireman shovelled for dear life, while Percy's driver leant out of the cab window and cheered Percy along. He was so excited he could hardly keep still. "Well done, Percy," he shouted. "We're gaining. We're going ahead. Oh, good boy, good boy." Far ahead, a distant signal warned them that the harbour wharf was near. "Peep, peep, peep," whistled Percy. "Brakes guard, please." The driver carefully checked the train's headlong speed. They rolled under the main line and halted on the wharf. "Oh dear," groaned Percy. "I'm sure we've lost." The fireman scrambled to the cab roof. We've won, he shouted. Harold's still hovering. He's looking for a place to land." "Listen, boys," he called. "Here's a song for Percy." Said Harold Helicopter to our Percy, "You are slow, your railway is out of date, and not much use, you know. But Percy, with his stone trucks, did the trip in record time, and we beat the helicopter on our old branch line. The driver and the guard soon caught the tune, and so did the workmen on the quay." Percy loved it. "Oh, thank you," he said. He liked the last line best of all. Later, Percy and Toby went back to the shed. Percy was a very happy engine indeed. And that was just a short few pages from this lovely little book. I know I missed a line out there, didn't I? Percy pounded along, and the trucks screamed and swayed as they gathered speed together on their journey through the valley. There we are. Well, that was the bugbear of all ASMR artists. I hope the sound of the aircraft wasn't too distracting for you. So there we are. Did you like my Ringo Starr impersonation, with the greatest of respect to him, of course. I just felt I had to share this with you, a little bit of my childhood, and that was great. I enjoyed doing that. Would you like me to read some other stories? I don't know if there's the locos. Duck, Diesel, Daisy, Bill and Ben and Boko and James, Henry, Percy, the Fat Controller. No, Percy, said the Fat Controller. We cannot do that till high tide. I hope this will teach you to obey orders. Yes, sir, Percy shivered. He was cold. Fish were playing hide-and-seek through his wheels. The tide rose higher and higher. It was dark when the men brought floating cranes to rescue Percy. There's a Fat Controller on the boat called Christina. Look at that expression. Isn't that brilliant? I absolutely loved the TV series Thomas the Tank Engine. Troublesome Trucks there. There's Thomas. Why? Asked Percy. Danger means falling down something, replied Thomas wisely. I went past danger once, he said, and fell down a mine. Percy looked beyond the board. I can't see a mine, he said. He didn't know that the foundations of the quay had sunk, and that the rails now sloped downward to the sea. Stupid board, said Percy crossly. For days and days afterwards he tried to sidle past it, but his driver stopped him every time. So yeah, you can clearly see I love Thomas the Tank Engine, and you can see why I hung on to one of the books. I know Percy was a bit of a favourite, so that was probably why this one. And of course, yeah, the Thomas the Tank Engine stories were by the British Reverend, I think it was Wilbert Awdry, and then his son Christopher Awdry continued to write the books. So the animated series came many years later, which I dare say you've seen and you're aware of, but I liked the actual model type, the first type, where it was literally like really a model train set. Oh, that's nice. Can you hear the rain? Can you hear the rain? See if I can get some of that rain. So there's a little bit of rain for you. Hope you like it. And maybe here's an idea. Shall I do some bedtime reading stories? Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already and you enjoyed this, consider subscribing to my channel and help it grow. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you. There we are, a chance to relax. Just listen to the pitter-patter of the rain. Help wash away any unhappy thoughts, feelings, emotions, stress of the day. Take that weight off your shoulders now. Breathe in and breathe out. As ever, with loving kindness, as always. I shall talk to you soon. Take care. Goodbye.